This is my Saab 900 Turbo, aka Vader 900, which I picked up for a mere $3,000. I've been slowly restoring random parts here and there for the past few months, kind of aimlessly to be honest. But now that we've moved to the beautiful state of Tennessee, home of the legendary Tail of the Dragon, I finally have a mission. Get this 37-year-old Swedish meatball reliable and tight enough to tackle 318 curves in 11 miles on the tail of the dragon without flying off a cliff. In this episode, what started as a small transmission fluid leak quickly turned into one of those classic, well, might as well while I'm in here situations. Before I knew it, I was knee-deep in major component replacements, most of which I've never done before, but if it means Vader 900 drives like a champ for years to come, it's worth every busted knuckle. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive into the chaos. Before we go any further, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Somehow this channel has reached 5,000 subscribers and I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Whether you've been here since the beginning or just happened to stumble across one of my videos, thank you, it really means a lot to me. You may have also noticed that my channel name has changed from BW Tech to BW Works, or Works I guess you could call it. So I started this channel back in college with the idea of doing tech reviews like laptops and smartphones and things like that. But life had other plans and naturally it shifted into something that's more me, restoring cars, telling stories, and just sharing the process. So BW Tech is no more and BW Works is here to stay, and I think that name is the better fit for what this channel is. Thank you again for being here, for every like, comment, and word of encouragement. It really keeps me going more than you probably know, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. So with that out of the way, let's get back into the video. Now this old 900 isn't in terrible shape, but if I want to take it to the Dragon with confidence and without fearing for my life at every corner, there's a long list of things that need attention. Right now the car starts and runs, but it doesn't really shift. There is a leak somewhere in the hydraulic clutch system. I had originally planned to drive this thing all the way from California to Tennessee during our cross-country move, but the clutch gave out right before the trip. So instead of a glorious road trip, it got hauled behind my Santa Fe like a trailer queen. Now that we're finally settled in and I've got a bit of wrenching time, it's time to get this Saab shifting like it should. I knew something was wrong with the clutch when it suddenly stopped working, and sure enough, when I checked the brake fluid reservoir, it was low. So I topped it off, pumped the clutch a few times, and like magic, it came back to life, but it didn't last long. After just one drive around the block, I felt the clutch engagement point start to drop lower and lower until eventually it stopped engaging altogether. At that point, I couldn't even get the car into gear. I then found the leak, or leaks, right under the clutch area. After some investigation, I am suspecting a leaking slave cylinder, which I heard is an absolute pain in the butt. So after taking off 99,000 hoses and removing the clutch cover, we can finally see the slave cylinder. I gotta be very sure that the slave cylinder is the problem just from touching it. Definitely is leaking, but I just want to be 1000% sure, because replacing the slave cylinder is a big pain in the butt. And so I'm just gonna place this towel right under where the rubber boot is and just let it sit overnight or a couple days, because I have to order parts anyway. Just confirm that it's actually leaking. And yep, it was leaking just as I suspected. Now that I confirmed the source, it was time to get in there. And since I don't have any friends nearby to help, I used the good old trick of wedging a stick against the clutch pedal and the seat. Scoot the seat forward. Keep going. Oh my goodness. Alright, this is a bad idea. Oh. The clutch is now depressed. That gave me enough room to install the clutch pressure spacer tool. Next, I pulled the retaining pin and cover, then removed the mixer. A tip I learned from Retro Car Style, a big shout out to him, is to thread in a similarly sized bolt and use it to gently pry out the shaft. That trick worked like magic, saving me a ton of time and frustration. Very nice. After pulling the bolts for the slave cylinder and the pressure plate, I was face to face with the final boss of this job. No joke, this was hands down the hardest mechanical task I've ever had to tackle on any car. It fought me every step of the way. Although I've got to give Saab some credit, because as tough as this was, it's actually way easier than doing the same job on a traditional setup where you have to drop the entire transmission just to get access. So weirdly enough, this is the easier version. Well, I am done for the day. My back hurts so bad. So, gonna play Pokemon. Weezing, use Crazy Blast. There's the little clutch. I've actually never seen a clutch before. Okay, now should be a lot easier. Oh! Oh my goodness. I got it out. Look how mangled it is. I was gonna get a new one anyway, but holy crap. Oh! Pressure plate kind of got messed up here too. But yeah. Alright, so taking out the slave cylinder took me about an hour, close to an hour. But had I known the trick, I think it would have taken me a fraction of that. The trick is definitely have a good pry bar like this. And you do need to remove the clutch first. After I removed the clutch, you know, the slave came out in like literally like probably like 20 seconds. I just pulled it out. Well, the clutch actually looks pretty good. It's a genuine part from Saks. Although the clutch manufacture date is 2022, I mean, that doesn't mean that it was put in 2022, I guess. But you know, you can still see the lettering here at the clutch material. There's still plenty of width left near the rivets, so I think this clutch is okay to go back into the car. Not much play here, and overall pretty good. But this part, like the teeth are pretty mangled up too, and it's uneven. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's pretty, like so it's bent. Like this one's bent up pretty badly. I guess I could try to bend it back, but I don't know. This is such a hard job that I don't want to risk putting bad parts back on. This is very unfortunate because this is another piece that's going to cost a lot more. I wish I was more careful, but I mean, it was my first time, so learning experience, I guess. But for sure, my slave cylinder, I know there's a kit to rebuild it, but I mean, look at this. It's all mangled up here, and I don't think this will be rebuildable. But the main part that caused the leak in the first place is probably this part, because if you can see here, those little ridges that you see, that's a seal, but there's only like an inch of it. Everywhere else there's no seal. So I think that's the cause of the leak. This is just the boot and the spring inside, so yeah, I'm gonna get a new one of these, probably a new one of these, but reuse the clutch. Look what the wife got me. Anyways, I think it'll be a crime not to check out my rear main seal while I'm in here anyway. I did get a new one just in case. If it's leaking, I'll replace it. If it's not leaking, I think I'll still replace it. There's the flywheel. Well, I would say that is definitely leaking. And I don't know, this is my first time seeing an engine this torn up. And it's honestly not that clean. It's just so grimy and disgusting. And some of those holes don't look so great either. So are they supposed to be like that? I don't know. Anyways, that's the seal I need to replace. And I got a new one from National Oil Seals. And there it is. It actually doesn't look the same. That's a problem, isn't it? After finally getting the old seal out and comparing it to the new one, I decided not to take any chances. I bit the bullet and ordered the OEM one for $50 freaking dollars shipped to my door. I should have just done that from the start, but thanks to the $13 national brand seal, I at least got a practice run in before installing the real deal. Alright, that's as clean as it's gonna get, probably. At least as clean as I want it to be anyway. So this is the national one that I practiced with. And I got the original one. This is made in France. Huh, interesting. So I'm gonna put this one in. It is black instead of the orange, but I mean, it's got the original sub on it, so I'm gonna use this.
Have that car ever turned on?
This one?
Wait, did you guys bring this over here?
Yeah.
You did? How?
Yeah, I towed it.
You towed this all the way over here.
Yes, we did.
Dang, that's crazy. It's crazy that you did that.
Yeah.
Did you have to get a lot of gas because how heavy this is?
Yeah.
Dang.
I got gas 100 times.
You did?
Yeah. Just kidding. Maybe like 5 times. There are plenty of tools and methods out there for installing the rear main seal, but I went with what's known as the cup method. Basically, you slide the seal over a tapered cup, and the lip of the cup slips neatly over the output shaft, and this stretches the inner lip of the seal just enough to let it slide perfectly into place without getting kinked. It's a bit tricky to explain in words, but I think once you try it, it'll totally make sense. I was gonna get a new bearing. I think this is called a throwout bearing, but it's in really good condition. There's no wiggles or anything. It spins really smoothly, so just gonna leave that in there. At the time, I didn't think much of it, but later I realized that the flywheel was in pretty rough shape. This is definitely where my inexperience showed, because anyone familiar with flywheels would have spotted the wear instantly and called it out. So I took it to a machine shop to have it resurfaced properly, and while I was there, they asked if I wanted to remove the pilot bearing. I said sure, which of course meant I had to replace it. But honestly, that ended up being a blessing in disguise. Fresh surface, fresh bearing, and one less thing to worry about down the line. So I just got this out of the freezer. I think it should fit. I think it's a good thing that the guy forced me to do it, because this one, you can kind of hear stuff, whereas the new one is completely silent and it's more smooth in general, so I'm glad I got this one. Alright.
Is that heavy?
Oh yeah. You wanna try?
Yeah.
Hold it like here.
Oh, that's really heavy.
Yeah. And they were nice enough to put in this clutch tool in between the teeth and the casing so that there's enough room to put the slave cylinder in. So I think now we're ready to get this going. Remember when I said I was face to face with the final boss of this job? No joke, this was hands down the hardest mechanical task I've ever had to tackle on any car. Yeah, I take that back. Putting it back in turned out to be the real final boss. Somehow it was even harder than getting it out. But after a good amount of wiggling, cursing, internally of course, and some good old-fashioned finesse, I finally got it back in place. Alright, so that actually took me like almost an hour to get in. So really, there's no trick other than making sure that this clutch tool is in there. Otherwise, there's no chance that you're gonna get this slave cylinder in between this space. There's just no chance. So I'm glad that the guy was able to get this in there for me. Other than that, just line up the 3 dowels and make sure it's the correct hole. Alright, so I got everything hooked up. Well, not everything, but just the hydraulic stuff hooked up. So I'm gonna start bleeding. Now, this is the moment of truth. If I did everything correctly, I should have some pressure. So let's get it up to 15 psi. Alright, so that's just about 15. So I'm gonna release the pressure from here, and I should start seeing air bubbles and all that good stuff come out. So let's see. All right, bunch of air bubbles. It's gonna keep going until the air bubbles stop. I don't see any leaks so far, so that's good. Still a little bit more. Alright, I think that's good enough. I don't see any more bubbles, so let's tighten this back up. I'm gonna go into the car and I'm gonna press the clutch a bunch of times, and that cylinder better move. Let's freaking go! So I think I can remove this now, but before I do that, this gasket right here is very torn up. So I got a new one from J&K Saab Works, and they were nice enough to give me a oil change sticker that has Saab on it. So pretty simple part, but they went the extra mile to do a novelty like this, so big shout out to them. But yeah, I'm gonna just replace this. It goes over like that. You guys have no idea how happy I am, because that job was terrible. I never want to do it again, so I hope there are no leaks. But I'm gonna button everything up and we're gonna go for a drive probably tomorrow, because it's almost sundown. So see you guys tomorrow.